here, you've got motor carriers who have their own authority, and they're the ones that are selling the freight, brokering the freight, dispatching the freight. Jason and I, with Expediter Services, we're not a motor carrier. We don't sell freight, broker freight, or dispatch freight. We're a service provider, and we look at it and service it from the truck level up. Now, we have motor carriers that obviously have to go out and take the liability. They've got to take the exposure, and they have to be able to get that freight into some type of environment. So most people, when they come to the Expedite Expo, you get yourselves in a position, you're trying to say, I know what I'm doing, I'm trying to see what I want to do, I want to look and see what areas I can go, how I want to operate. You're seeing the downward pressure and the headwinds that they're experiencing. We're inside of a motor carrier that's got a branded fleet. So you can be an owner-operator inside of a motor carrier that's asset light or non-asset based, which these motor carriers are. They are not power-owned equipment. They do not have their own equipment. They have their own authority. And so what advantages would I tell anyone in this room to look for would be make sure first and foremost that you're with the motor carrier that is a true asset light or non-asset based motor carrier, so that you're not bucking City Hall, you're not fighting against the House, you're not betting against that. So you're in a dispatch environment under a brand that can get you the freight that you want to have and that you can operate. And then you need to have yourselves in a position so you can drive your revenue up with that structure and that business model. And then you also need to drive your expenses out. And the way you drive your expenses out is with utilization and efficiency. So the dispatch system will have to keep you utilized. The expense side structure, everybody knows you have operational cost in the truck, you've got it in fuel, shop and repair and maintenance, you have it in insurance, and so you want to drive up your revenue and decrease your expenses. Economics 101 is nothing. I'm not saying anything that everybody in here doesn't understand and doesn't live by daily. But when you say what advantages should I be looking for, and I would need to, and we are in the same shoes that you are, because we look at it from the ground level up. We're not in some big ivory tower looking down. We're looking at it at the pavement from the truck. Everything that's been done is make sure that you've got yourself in a group, in a community, in an environment where you have the same agenda, intentions, and desires, which is to produce the maximum amount you can produce inside the piece of equipment that you're operating it, and being inside of a dispatch environment that can get you the most freight that you can get. And I believe that this type of structure, this type of environment is what it is. From our company level, we bring the services, we can help provide the equipment, so you need to make sure you have a good piece of equipment. We also have ways to, and we'll get into those things, I'm sure, in a little bit later, but you drive the cost out because there's cost of funds involved. You want to drive the operating costs out. You want to have national account pricing for tires and at your shop level. You need to do that. It's hard for a one-off individual person to do that. You need to be in a group or a community to do those things. And fuel costs, you want to make sure that you're in a position where that when you're purchasing fuel, that you're purchasing it at the lowest true cost that there is. Not some marketing brochure. You need to be at the lowest true cost, and you need to be able to calculate that and evaluate that. So what advantages should they be looking for? They should be looking for a community that gives them good freight, with the protection of adequate insurance, general auto liability insurance coverages, with good safety, good mechanisms. They need to be operating a good piece of equipment. They need to make sure that they have a structure set up so that they can utilize and be efficient in that operation. And they need to do everything they can to drive every penny out of the cost of that, because pennies make dollars. And if you don't watch the pennies, you will not have dollars.